Yes, hello everyone. Can you hear me all?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dr.
All
Shanu.
right. So I think we are good to go, and I can see that we already have almost around 10 participants. So we are good to go. So, hello and welcome to the Research School, where we dive deep into understanding. In our every session, we dive deep into understanding the different integrities of research and uncover the different aspects of research. I'm your host, Dr. Shanu Gupta, for today. I'm an academician, a media and communication faculty, and a researcher. And by heart, I'm a digital marketer also. So today we have with us Dr. Poornima Jirli, who and, uh, who is here with us to share her wonderful experiences during her research journey. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Shanu. I hope everyone is.
Poornima has completed. I would like to just give a brief intro of Dr. Poornima. She has completed her DBA from SSBM Geneva, and today she is here with us to share her thoughts on the research. So we would like to listen from you, ma'am, that what inspired you. The first question, which is a very common question, which comes across all researchers, that what inspired you to pursue DBA in your field of study, how you started, and then how you uncovered the different aspects of research.
Thank you, Dr. Shanu. I am Poornima. I hold an industry experience of 15 plus years, mainly a very technology person. To begin with, what inspired me is COVID, I would say. That's when I began my MBA journey. And as part of MBA journey, I met Dr. Anuja Shukla also. It's been my inspiration all along. So as part of that journey, I chose strategy management, and as part of strategy management, there were a couple of topics that really interested me. One was design thinking, and the other two were high performing organizations, and third one was international marketing. And I thought post that. Because as part of MBA, you would invest 8 to 10 hours on a daily basis, and you're so used to that research kind of a thing, getting to know things more. And because I come from the industry background as well, I try to relate how whatever we study, how is it making sense. And that did take some that did take away some of the interest from me. And after that, I thought I should further study post completing my MBA with strategy management. I should do something about it, wherein you really focus on one phenomena, and you really try to understand what is it from a broader perspective, to narrow down perspective, and how you can apply it into your day in day out life, and also professionally, because there's so much in the technology aspect. And how would you differentiate yourself from someone else? I wouldn't say it is just the degree that matters, but it's the knowledge that comes with the degree that will play a very vital role. And that is how you become the differentiator from your peers, I think. Yeah, that was the bigger motivation for me to do something good in my professional career with that knowledge.
So you comes from industry background, and industry. There's a big difference between industry and academia. So my next question, which is an obvious question, is after coming to this course, how you decided your research topic, and then how you develop yourself to adjust to this environment. Because research, when we talk about research, it comes with so much pressure.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's very easy to pursue it along with our core job. So how did you take it?
Yes, I would really want to thank Dr. Anuja, because she's with me from my MBA times. I probably know her since years now. Yes, balancing these two things with your family, your professional life, and research, because as such they are all big in their own areas. Having that right set of an environment, be it at home and in the academic journey, as I said, I when I opted for this DBA, I was certain of what topics I wanted to research on. But you're all excited, you're doing you're into that DBA journey. As part of your MBA, you have written assignments, and you feel that oh, this is what it is. And but no, MBA assignments are very different than the DBA ones. So there's a hell lot of difference. It took, but that excitement was also there. And how do you make use of it? One is the right sort of environment, and the other one is the not only from your family point of view, but in the academic career also. Because professionally, I come from a banking industry. I'm a technology person in the banking industry. And you go and say, I want to do something. They're like, yeah, good, you know what, you go ahead, you perceive. And once you do all of that, just let us know how it makes sense to us. All were very excited in my office when I said I'm going to do that. But there, nobody is going to come and tell you how you do it. So then you're like, okay, come this side. And you find those like-minded people. You have to have those people who are ready to mentor you, and who have that patience. Because the background that I come from, the way we look at things are very different. If for us, yeah, I mean, academics says cloud computing is on top, but then when we look at it in the real time implementation, right, it's just so many factors that come into play. Do we have the money? Does our bank need that? How much difference is it going to make? So I think it's the mindset also was very different when I joined here. Dr. Anuja again helped me there to get to understand, and I went through different phases of so many mentor changes as well. Uh, but then knowing what you want to do, and having that sort of an environment, and a person who guides you, saying that because when you are excited, you're like, your topic is truly broad. I was like, I went, my first proposal was design thinking in the commercial industry. So then everybody was like, okay, what do you really mean? And that time I did not know it was a very vague topic. Because according to me, I have narrowed down the topic. But then how is it vague? Why doesn't it make sense? And all of that, right? I think I had the right guidance at that point in time, and the switch of the mindset, which was very important. And my mentors kept telling me that, what, when you're writing research, you have to shift your mindset. You are in academia now. The way we talk, or the way we think about things, I'm a very biased person, because I like design thinking. I'm like, no, everything is just gonna go on. But I think as part of my journey, I discovered who I was also as a person. And there's a good amount of mind shift change that was needed. And I think you should leave out your industry hat, and accept that you are new to this field, and you're just a student, and you're just a beginner. And you have to be curious about what you're trying to do. Probably these are the little things that made me keep one step ahead. And trust me, I was anxious as well when I took this. Because in industry, you're like, yeah, you've proved yourself, all that, you're earning money, and all that is good. But when you come here, it's like an ocean, and you're as good as new. So I think the environment, the right set of mentors, and not only telling you what you should look from a study point of view, but who will also teach you how to shift your mindset. I think I had that. So it was kind of okay for me to navigate between these two things. I wouldn't say it was easy, but I had that environment.
All right, Dr. Poornima, it is so interesting to listen you and all your experiences. But in between, I just want to take a moment over here to welcome all the participants in our today's podcast. And dear participants, today we are having Dr. Poornima with us, and we are talking about a very interesting and exciting, area, which is research. Okay, and we are covering different aspects, and now we are going further deep into understanding Dr. Poornima's research methodologies. And I I'm sure everybody over here is interested into understanding from you, Dr. Poornima, the research methodology and how to take these things, because research, as you said, research is a big funnel. Okay, from bottom to down, it's like you are picking up so many things in the beginning, and then coming down the funnel, you just come up with your conclusions and your overall summary and all these things. So I want you to give our participants over here to this understanding that how to choose research methodology, and what is the importance of choosing an appropriate research methodology, and how did you take it in your research, like these methodologies and all these things, how did you deal with this?
Very, I had a quite an interesting journey. As I said, it all began with an excitement, and I've messed up with the research methodologies. I changed what I proposed to what I actually gave, because that's how you learn. So initially I went with a very large topic saying design thinking in banking industry. I did not say which area, what area. Banking has retail, institutional, all of that. And then I added to it saying that intuitive designs, empathy. Empathy is a very very difficult phenomena to measure, but I was all excited and I went. But then yet again, when I went back with that first proposal of saying I'm doing design thinking in banking, the feedback that I had was this is a really broad topic. I still couldn't get. According to me, I have said that design thinking in banking, and for me, I have narrowed down it. I'm not saying design thinking, application of design thinking in the world. I'm not saying that. I'm saying banking. But then I was like, what further narrowed down means, right? I've already kind of narrowed it down to banking industry. But then when you go about researching again, I did have a lot of mentorship calls. I had a mentor as well. I don't mean to name her again and again and make you guys feel that I'm just providing the publicity for her, but she's real. Dr. Anuja really stood by me, and then I started looking at what does it mean to narrow down the topic. When you say design thinking in banking, you really go broad about it. You really try to cover the whole word, and when you try and cover the whole word, there is so much of research paper available, and the number just shoots up. You may not be able to go through all that 10,000, 20,000, because you have a different. Mine was mostly a sort of literature review, and I'll come to that as well. When I first said I'm going to do design thinking in banking, I said I'm going to do the SLR, and when I went about SLR, there were like so many documents around it, and that's when you know that okay, no, this does not make sense. It's not humanly possible for me to go through that number of documents. So then I'll have to include the filters in, and then you include a filter in saying that you're just going to the finance part of it, not the institutional part of it, and then the number comes down. Because when you want to study, you just want to narrow your focus on one thing that you want to study, and not make it. You don't want to be a jack of all, right? You just don't want to put your hand into retail, institutional. You're just diluting the whole thing. When you say finance, it just covers the retail banking aspect of it. And when you get into that retail banking aspect of it, you know everything around it. When you focus on one topic, you know everything around it. That was my biggest learning. I was like, it's nice, I'm interested, I'm passionate. Then they let me do whatever I wanted to do, and when I came up with the numbers after going through the Scopus and Web of Science, I was like, ma'am, I don't think I'll be able to read all of that. So that's exactly when we say narrow down the topic, because then your focus is on just one thing, and when you study about that one thing, you know in and around, and you're 100% sure of what you're doing. Not that you are, but at least to the name of it, you know what is happening, and all of that. That is when I said I narrowed down my search saying only English, and then you come to finance, and then the numbers, the study was limited. There's a number as well to what number of documents that you have to read, or what's the sample size, and all of that. As you go through that journey, you will figure it out. So that's when I narrowed down and I had a number. Interestingly, that number became very less when I put a lot of filters in there. So that's also another aspect, because if the research articles are too less, then there's nothing much that you can do about a little. If there are only 30, 25 to 30, yes, it will help you, you can contribute to that area, and all of that is there. But for you to gain knowledge, or for you, because you're just a beginner as part of a DBA, you really need to have those resources so that you gain a broader perspective and understanding, and then you go about things rather than just picking up a topic because it's interesting and all of that, you're passionate. If the number gets less, I went with this to my SSBM mentor, and he's like, this is a really less number. I was like, yeah, I know. So from a lot to less, and then I have to eliminate some of the filters, and I had to find a middle ground wherein it was proved from the SLR says the X number is fine. I had to get to that number. And that is how I came up with a topic of very specific, saying application of design thinking in the retail banking. That's how I narrowed down the topic. At least this was my journey. This is how I went about it. And next was, what is the research methodology? And what I understood or perceived, design thinking is closely associated with the innovation aspect. So my understanding of innovation was, you innovate something and you just leave, but it doesn't stop there. You innovate something, for you to sustain in the market, there's something that you need to have the competitive edge as well. So I thought, yeah, stimulus and response for innovation, there's a research methodology, SLR, Pavlov, I'm just going to apply that. And I wrote all of that, and I sent it. One feedback was, because you've put up your points and your narrative is kind of aligning to what you're thinking, that was approved. And but one feedback I received was, as part of the DBA journey, it's good that you're doing SLR, but it's not only about you study the existing literature, find the gaps and propose, but you'll have to add in the new data as well. So then they said, then I, from my professor, I had a feedback of adding a new data. That's when again I discussed with Dr. Anuja. She said, yes, we could do the survey as well. That's one methodology, or we could do interview. And then I went ahead with an interview. Very biased person. My interview responses were biased. That's what Dr. Anuja said as well. That is one way of looking at how your response. But then when I got the survey results, and I'm um, trying to embed my survey results and my SLR results to the SR theory, it just didn't make sense. The narrative that you're trying to bring in, and you're trying to apply all of that. And I went back and I had a call with Dr. Anjali, said, no, this is just not making sense. How do we SLR, S and R is good for innovation, but design thinking is all about strategy management, gaining competitive advantage, and it's a lot to do with the behavior, how people perceive it, based on that they implement it, and all of that. I think that's when I had to change my research methodology to BRT theory. So this was my journey. I changed, literally, I changed my proposed theory to another one, that was accepted as well. And that, this is the rationale that I gave earlier. This was my understanding, and this is how I changed it, because I feel rationally it made sense. So this was one of the major changes that I had. And on the personal front, it cuts the bias also as a human that you have. I remember every conversation that I've had with my mentors, I'm like, this is very good, I know how to sell it, I've done a course from Stanford about this, I know. One thing I identified about my personality was, if I like something, I would try to go and search for the data that's aligned to. I think that was most of my personality gain as well. And on the professional front, you start to look at things in a very different way. Probably what you would say is, my professional growth have been rapid post this journey that I've been through. As I said, degree matters to an extent, but what knowledge and the personality changes that you go through as part of this journey is what is going to make a real difference in the professional courses. When I had been through this journey, I know from my mindset that I'm a biased person and I have to be more open to what people say. And there's always another way of looking at things. And technologically, when you do whatever you do now, I am part of a team where you write a strategy for the technology. So how you look at things, and how do you recover. Like, you look at the data, if it is making sense, it is making sense. If not, you recover faster. I'm sorry, I'm just getting distracted by the comments. If you want to take comments, I'm okay to stop as well, Dr. Shanu. We are unable to hear you. We are on mute.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Actually, I was getting, involved. I got involved into your conversation so much. So I forgot to unmute myself. So before we dive deep again, I want to remind all of you to subscribe our podcast channel and please follow us on social media to stay updated on all our latest episodes and exclusive content based exclusively on research. So yes, Dr. Poornima, as you said that you comes from industry background and then you pursued your research. So now I'd like to know one question which is my personal question, that would you try to or are you trying to implement your learnings from your research in your industry, or how much you have gained from this, how much practical approach you have applied?
Yes, the mindset has changed. Um, I was at a mid management level. Now I am at a position where I define the strategies. Of course, industry has its own way of getting things reviewed and all of that. Um, but it has given me that opportunity and that confidence that now I can put up a paper on see how things could be done differently. That's a major gain for me from the professional standpoint. I have been recognized at every level now, which was not before. The language has changed now. When you look at things, the feedback that I usually receive is, earlier this is how it was, and now we know that you're trying to look at things from a broader perspective. Now if somebody says this can't be done, the approach is like, why, I'm telling you it can be done, or these are my rationale. Now you're like, no, this could be done in this way, or we could strategically do it in this way. So that's the shift that has happened in my professional career, Dr. Shanu. And it has helped me to negotiate better, to convince better. So that's the gains that I have had, which will anyways lead you to a level up from the financial aspect and the career growth aspect as well.
All right, thank you. The next question I would like to take from one of our participant who has asked that he's a doctoral student. Uh, Vikas, I guess Vikas has asked this question, and he's asking the question again and again. So he's saying that he wants to make a career in corporate job, and currently he's completed his MCom, and what kind of growth he can get after doing this PhD DBA program. Can you give him some idea about this?
Yeah, I'm not sure what this research topic is. If you are looking out for a career job, then, and if your research topic is more aligned with the business, then I think the right fit would be join in as a business expert in that area, because as part of your research you would know the depth of it. And okay, if it is finance, you could as well join some bank as a consultant, wherein you say they could. And if you are when you say finance, if your expertise is in I'm not sure if it is the digital banking or what really about, because finance is again a broader area, what part of finance that you're talking about. If you can always go as a consultant to any of the financial institutions. When I say financial institutions, it could be a retail banking, it could be an institutional banking, and all different sort of banking that can be done. But for you to be okay, perfect. Investment banking, you could as well have your own app and a website which throws in the idea, and you can be a consultant there. But to reach to that, I think it takes a lot. It's a lot of it's for you have to first demonstrate that you have that knowledge. Yes, we all do our DBAs, we all write a paper, it's approved, and that is one aspect of it that you do as part of academic journey. You'll also have to publish the papers in the category journals, wherein it would act as a credential for you, to say that, this is what my studies, this is where I've published, and that's why I believe that I can consult better. So that's how you can go about things. For me, it is slightly easier because I'm already in a corporate job and I am a technology person. The area that I chose is more to do with innovation, competitive advantage, and all of that. It gets slightly easy for me, because I know people, and they know that I have done, and my credentials act for me. And from the organization point of view, they also have somebody who has done this DBA. For them, I'm a credential as well. But for somebody who is not, probably will take a little more effort from the paper publishing point of view and all. I'm sure here Dr. Shanu and Dr. Anuja are there as well as to guide. But that's one way how I see people nowadays getting into the corporate job. Because, yeah, Dr. Shanu, that's how I know things.
Yes, yes. Actually, Vikas, I also want to add that whether you are into, like, for the, if you want to go into academics, then there is a separate criteria. After pursuing your research, you have to, publish sufficient number of papers to, for your promotions and for your other, future roles. But if you want to go into corporates, then obviously in corporates also the research has a very important role, as every corporate organization must have a strong research background. So that's where you can, after your research, if you want to go into corporate, so there you can incorporate your research learnings there in your area, particular area. That's how you do it.
Yep.
So, Dr. Poornima, now it's like stress when we talk about research. So stress is one of the most, you know uh, common
Yep.
term which every one of us goes around. Stress and research are like the parallel things. So what strategies you use to manage your stress and prevent the burnouts when we had had to face a lot of frustrations and other things during research?
Yep.
I'm
Um,
sure you must have your own story.
Oh, probably an elaborated one, and I might bore a few as well here. Yes, yes. So it was a roller coaster ride for me. As I said, I've been fortunate enough to have very good mentors as part of my MBA journey, and that's how I thought it was very rosy, and I could get the same mentors for the DBA, but it was not like that. As I said, it all started with an excitement, and then you say, and you are like, okay, this is what I want to do. um, Again, good environment, right? Be it academic, be it the place that you work on, be it at a home. So here, yes, yeah, all good, I have my topic, everything is ready, done. And then you say, no, narrow down the topic, this is going to get difficult, because you just don't know, you've never done that before. You have done is written an MBA assignment with all good citations, that's all what you know. And you think that itself is a big thing, that you write the citations, because that's where I failed miserably first time. So I was, it narrowing down the topic, understanding, probably, I would say, what research really means, and how do you go about it. It's not just writing the paper. Writing the paper is the last thing, because you have everything, and then you just write. And sometimes it's this one topic, and the common thing that everyone kept me telling was like, pick a topic that you can live with for the next 3 to 4 years, right? Because you have to live with that topic. It just doesn't go. Once you write one proposal, you're just like, right, and it takes a lot of time for you to complete the four. So you have to, you pick something that you like, not your mentor likes, not your supervisor likes, not your friend likes, or not what you think is the industry. Like a lot of at one point in time, cloud computing was in a peak. Everyone just wanted to write about it, but it just got normalized. So you strategize everything, one that is green, that is sustainable, and another one which every morning you wake up and like, yeah, you just write one line of the topic. Yes, you have all the Gen AI tools and all, but yeah, there's a Turnitin as well, which will recognize if you've got it from somewhere. So that's another point. So I think that is what it was, picking up a topic which you could live with. And even though this topic interested me so much, some days I was like, oh my god, I have to get up and I have to submit. And having the timelines, right? If you don't have the timelines, you're like, yeah, you have a weekend to do it. Yeah, you just postpone it, because it's not like any other degree wherein you have this and this is the date you're supposed to submit and all of that. It's not like that. There's an independence that you have, and the self learning journey part of it. So for all the other courses, you get these videos, you tell, as coming from a very Indian educated background, you're so used to teachers being in the classroom and telling you what to do. MBA kind of helped me to get out of that, but still we had teachers there who could guide. Here it was like, no, you do a self study. And I have sometimes, I was in a very bad mood as well, and I've called Dr. Anuja saying I'm not able to write a single line of word. Then she's like, okay, no problem, take a break today, or take a week's break, and then come back and write. So I think that was very important, you being mentally accepting that this is the part of the journey. Some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad. Some days you're just sitting and reading the articles. You're reading so many articles that you've just lost the count of it. And the simple things would, in this, what I did and helped was, you maintain whatever articles you read, you maintain an Excel part of it, and then you've just not lost it. And you're not, at least the earlier days, I used to download the articles and just go in circles, right? Yeah, I've read this, I've read that, this. No, then you're like, you lost it. Oh, that was a good article, but you don't make a note of it, and you're frustrated. Oh, I lost the content, what I could have taken for it. So I think that maintaining an Excel sheet, which again was given by my mentor, saying probably you tried this. So I think I've done all what I understood was the better way of doing, and I've failed miserably. Then I went back to my mentor and saying that this is just frustrating. I think I've had very honest conversations. Like, I feel like I don't want to do anything. I feel like crying. I'm not able to move forward. So I had that platform wherein I can go and say, and then my mentor would say, okay, fine, you try this, take this Excel, maintain it this way. So I think an honest conversation has helped me a lot, Dr. Shanu, and accepting that the days are good and bad, and it's okay, has helped me a lot. And having the timeline for the self, you would submit at this point in time. Even if you can't make it, you just take a week break, and you come back and do it. I think those are two or three things. Having that mindset and mental health at the right place, and having and choosing a topic which you can live with for years together, I think that has helped me navigate.
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it was very some interesting points you briefed us. And before we dive further, I want to remind you all to please subscribe our podcast and follow us on social media, the Research School, and please stay updated with us with all our latest episodes and exclusive content on research. Today we have with us Dr. Poornima, who is sharing with us her experiences throughout her research journey, and as a lot of general things about the research we have already talked about. Now I just want you to focus on to and suggest our the participants over here to that how we have to come up to some specific research questions, then the research methodology, research method, selecting an appropriate research method, and then data collection techniques. Some brief points on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Coming to the research questions, because it's it was more so. I begin with an SLR, systematic literature review, because that's the safest thing what any DBA student can do. So I thought I would study. When you say SLR, it's a systematic literature review, which talks about what is existing, and what's not there, what's the gap. You're trying to identify the gap which is not currently studied about. So that's how I begin my journey. And Prisma is one of the famous SLR technology that you can opt for if you're doing an SLR. You go to the famous databases, that's Scopus and Web of Science, which we chose and widely accepted in the research industry. That's how I begin, and you filter out based on what your criteria is. As I said, if you want to narrow down the topic, that's another best way to narrow down the topic as well. So when I did the SLR, the questions were more around. As I said, I really changed my methodology. Right, to begin with, SLR had a questions like, what's the research, what is the role of design thinking today in the industry, and what is the gap, and what are the trends. So this is what my one research question was. As I changed, I don't recollect what the others were. And or it was something like, because if it is Pavlov's SNR, you'd say how design thinking impacts the banking industry. So it's like directly you're saying design thinking is a stimulus and the response is the banking industry. So but then, as I said, I had a feedback saying, as part of the DBA journey, you just don't study about and let us know what the gaps are, but you also have to bring in the new data to the field of research. Then, and when they said I have to bring in the new data to the research, again, some of the discussions with my mentor led to different ways of bringing in the new data. You could bring in the case study. I tried getting in the case study from the organization, but usually that doesn't happen. Being in the banking industry, everything is confidential, everything is regulated. I I tried really hard, because that's the best thing that you can do. Put up a real industry use case for the phenomena that you're studying. It didn't work out. And then we said, okay, we'll another different ways of bringing is you do a survey using your Google Forms, very simple way of doing. And another way is the interview the people who are in that field, because design thinking is not very widely known. Yes, it's widely used but not known. Finding that industry expert was very hard for me. One more thing that we thought was, you could train a people and then probably try to get their views of how, but that we did not really see it's so relevant to what study we were trying to do. And that's when we said that, with my mentor, obviously we said we'll zero in on doing the survey. And what would you do after the survey? Yes, you all got the results, you framed your questions for survey. Now, as I said, when I had to key in the data and I was framing the research questions, those research questions did not align with the methodology that I adopted, which was SNR. Because design thinking, why would anybody choose design thinking? Then that choosing is again a human behavior, which is dependent on what they perceive of, any organization, or as a human, you will decide to do something because you would see the benefits out of it, or you would see that as a barrier. You would choose not to do it because it's a barrier, or you may choose to do it because it's a benefit. So when it comes to human behavior into play, then the stimulus and response doesn't make sense. So then we changed it to, it is a behavior reasoning theory, wherein it said that design thinking has a two significant phenomena, which is the perceived benefits and the barriers. Any organizations that assume, or that perceive, sorry, assume is the wrong word, that perceive design thinking as a benefit, it leads the organization to understand what are the benefits of this phenomena. And once it understands the benefits of the phenomena, it adopts that phenomena. They will apply the design thinking strategy, like banking industries do that. They will go to customers and they will say what is the problem, and all of that. They'll try to collect on the pain points and do something about it. Now, why do they do something about it? They would have seen a benefit in the ROI form. That's why they do it. So when they adopt that methodology, they will apply, they will make a change in the organization strategy, which will lead to innovation. Now on the flip side of it, if any organization, even in the organizations there are individuals who would do or make the decisions, most of us know by this time, and if that organization perceives it as a barrier, it will say no, it will resist the implementation, it will say I'm not going to do that. And when it resists the implementation, it will miss out on the opportunities. And when they do a retrospection that, oh, I've missed out on the opportunities, it yet again makes an organization strategy change and say that no, I'm going to change my strategy because I've missed all of that. Now I will choose to implement this and gain the strategic innovation. So that's when we reach to kind of this model, then the questions were framed around that model, saying if an organization perceives the design thinking as benefits, then it chooses to the understand, then it will choose to understand the methodology. That was one of the research question. When you have that methodology, you can kind of frame the questions, and when it sees as a barrier, it resists. And then when any organization, this is another question, when any organization sees anything as a barrier, it will resist the change. Then the next question is, any organization that resists the changes will miss out on the opportunities. So when you have the your methodology ready, that is when you say that this is how my research questions would look like. As I said, my research questions were also reframed, because what I wanted to do and what I had put on the paper just didn't make any sense. When it all made sense when I was just trying to do an SLR, but that wouldn't complete my paper. So this is how I framed my research questions, and this is how the data collection methodology was. What I opted was a survey, and post that survey, the analysis was done via PLS-SEM tool. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Poornima. So here I would also like to add something that we need to understand our research, and we can come up on a particular research methodology based on our particular topic. Okay, so it's not like that every each and every methodology works out for everyone. So there are many different, and this is what exactly research is. We need to uncover so many research methodologies, and then we need to arrive to a particular one which is very much most appropriate to our research. So that's how we have to do it. And like for sample size, Sanjay Kulkarni has asked for sample size. So there are tools available in the market, it's a software, G-Star Power software, through which you can also calculate your sample size, and you can further analyze your data based on your sample size calculation coming from the software. Okay, so now we are coming to an end to the session, and one last question which I want to ask you, Dr. Poornima, some few tips and advice you want to give the future researchers, as DBA is more industry driven
Yes.
than academics PhD. So few tips to our DBA students, and some advice like what they all need to, how they need to brush up for their PhD journey.
I'm not sure if I've attained that level of advising, but few things that I did that really make a difference, I can talk about it. One is choose a topic that you can live with. The whole world may disagree, but you have to choose a topic that you can live with, because every day morning you have to get up and you have to do a research on that topic. And find a good mentor. Find a good mentor. Not when I say good, it's not in terms of how academically they have achieved, but a person who can understand you. Trust me, you just don't need somebody who's going to say use this methodology, use that. No, you just don't need that sort of a person. But you would need a literal guru who would accept you, like, when you say yes, I did say that I'm going to submit, but I'm unable to. And you would want a mentor to whom you would say, you know what, you gave me this feedback, but I don't understand. Would you want to spend some time and elaborate? Who would basically want to hear you out? And there are going to be burnouts, as Dr. Shanu rightly pointed out. And if you want to have that conversation with your mentor who also focuses on the mental health. I think that is something that has worked like wonders for me. Yes, I had my thesis supervisor who is a person who writes for Harvard, so that's perfect. But to get a proposal approved from him, basically the background that I come from, it needed a lot of mental support as well. So I think that's when I approached Dr. Anuja, and she was kind enough to be that board for me. Find somebody like that who you can talk about, and someone who just doesn't tell you what to do, but someone who says, okay, if you feel this doesn't make sense, go tell me how you can do it differently, or give me a research, find a research paper how it can be done differently. And an absolutely ethical person. I remember the conversations with Dr. Anuja wherein she's introduced me to a few and she said, you want to do it. But I think that sort of mindset is what you need, and that has really helped me get better. Once that mentor should also be able to assess what you are and where you stand. When I first approached, because the first thesis supervisor that I had was like all behind writing papers, I did not know how to write papers. But then my mentor came in and she was like, no, you have to go through this journey. And at one point she said, now probably you can write a draft version of it. And trust me, even writing that draft version will give you an immense pleasure. Because even writing that literature review in your first research paper will make you feel wonderful. So I think that is something we all have to earn, and it takes time. Everything takes. That was the first advice I got from Dr. Anuja. It takes time. Just because you come with 15 to 20 years of industry experience, I think it does not mean we all can write research papers. It's that is something what we all have to accept, and at the end you're just a student. So you have to accept that. Find a good mentor for yourself, plus find a topic that you can live with for years together. That's what I would say.
So true. So, getting a good mentor in PhD is, I can say, a key to success,
Yes.
because half of the moment the mentors transfers the faith and the other things that yes you can do, you can achieve. I think half of the PhD is done by that time.
Yes.
So that's very true, and it's very, if you have got a good mentor, it's a
You're
very
blessed.
fortunate thing for all of the researcher scholars. So here, it was wonderful talking to you, Dr. Poornima. And
Thank
here
you.
we are coming to end the session. I would like to thank all the participants who have joined us today for the session, and I would like you all to continue this journey with us. And we will come up with again yet another exciting sessions on research. We'll talk on research, we'll talk on other things, and I hope you'll all will have some good takeaways from all these sessions. So I would like to thank all the participants over here who have joined us today, taking your time out and have joined us today. So thank you all the participants, and thank you Dr. Poornima for sharing your insightful journey, PhD journey with us. It was more of a some philosophical sort of conversation we had today, but yes, that's very important. That's the first step to enter into PhD. You have to be mentally prepared actually.
We all can write papers, Dr. Shanu. I think it's the mindset that makes the whole difference, and
Yes.
what sort of mentors you get. And yes, somebody commented that I was lucky. I'm definitely lucky, and I think everyone else can be. Just find the right person.
Yes. All right, so can we end our session? The organizers, anyone from organizing team? I think they are on mute or they have not heard us. All right, so thank you, Dr. Poornima. Thank you once again for joining us today
Thank you.
and giving us your valuable thoughts and
Thank
inputs.
you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, all the participants. You all can sign out. You all can leave, and then have a good day. Have a good night here. Okay. All right. Thank you.